Welcome to Tech Intersect. I'm your host, Tanya Evans, and my life and work exist at the heart of law, business, and technology. Yeah, I've earned a few fancy titles and degrees over the years, but the bottom line is I'm a writer, speaker, teacher, and lifelong learner, and I'm really excited that you've joined me on this journey. So what is Tech Intersect? Well, it's authentic, empowering conversations with really interesting guests who demystify complex topics to prepare you for the future. Because your future is now. And it exists where law, business, and tech intersect. Get ready to listen, learn, and leverage. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tech Intersect. I'm your host, Tanya Evans. And in this episode, I welcome Fred Brandon to the show. Now, he's originally from Cleveland, Ohio. He's an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and international speaker. And as a technologist with over 20 years of IT experience, Fred has developed solutions internationally and teaches blockchain globally online. Currently, Fred is the executive director of Crypto Kids Camp. Love it. It's a nonprofit organization that focuses on helping children learn new skills in STEAM and FinTech. More information about him can be found on fredbrandon.info or IamFBrandon on all social media platforms. And his book, a fantastic book, Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency, Embracing a Digital Future, is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Okay, before we jump into the episode, take a moment to follow this podcast and then like, share, and comment so that others who would benefit from this content can find it. I also invite you to visit my website, advantageevans.com, to learn more about my full suite of courses focused on the future of money, work, and creativity. And this includes my flagship onboarding course from cash to crypto and my new course. Really excited about this, the NFT Law Guide for creatives and collectors. And be sure to register for an upcoming free masterclass on either topic. There's something for everyone, from the newbie to the person who wants to take their crypto investments or their creativity to the next level. Seize this opportunity to learn while you earn, create generational wealth, and do so safely, legally, and confidently with multi-lesson modules, live coaching, and community. I'll give you the unbiased facts in plain language and give you a solid foundation. Remember, visit advantageevans.com for more information. It's time to listen, learn, and leverage. Let's get started. Today, I am extremely excited to welcome Fred Brandon to the show, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So he's representing from Cleveland. What's that area code? Is it 213?
216.
216, representing from the 216 originally. Fred is an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and international speaker. He's also a blockchain educator and is the executive director of Crypto Kids Camp, a nonprofit organization that focuses on helping children learn new skills in STEAM and FinTech. We'll talk about all of that in a moment and more. But first, Fred, welcome.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And before we jump into your journey into crypto, I've been checking in with people because we are 1 year into this pandemic, this pandemonium, this craziness all around the world. And personally and professionally, people have navigated this moment in history in very different ways. And I'm interested just how are you doing? Have you been able to take a breath and to continue personally and professionally? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This has been the year of the pivot. So whatever you thought you were going to do in 2020, you kind of just reversed a lot of things out. I had a lot of different plans. I also work in travel as well. So a lot of things that I was trying to help a lot of people in our community do is kind of like branch out and go new places, explore new things. So we had a lot of different trips lined up last year. We did get to go to Egypt for like 9 days. And we actually came back as the pandemic was starting. So we got back like mid-March of 2020. But yeah, I've been great. Like I said, this has been a very interesting time. I've seen a lot of different things that, I was working with because I also work in the tech field, but I also work with small businesses and as you know, a lot of small businesses were starting to tank because of
Right.
the pandemic. So yeah, it's been a year of the pivot.
Well, I'm grateful that you and yours are well. And it's true, in epic fashion, pivot is the best way to describe this past year. And I certainly did that myself. And this moment of reflection and understanding what is truly important and focusing my time and attention on the things that add value, certainly to my family and to the world, and sitting down somewhere, as my grandmother used to say, go sit down somewhere. So
Right,
I did for a year.
right,
So
exactly.
put me on that travel list too, because Have Passport needs new stamps for
Right,
sure.
definitely.
Excellent. So tell me about, there's some who will listen to the episode and certainly know who you are and how you move in the fintech space in general and crypto and some of the other pieces, but there'll be others who I'm introducing you to them for the first time. So talk about your origin story or just your journey into crypto and financial technology.
All right, so I'll give you the short version somewhat. Um, so I've always been into STEM and science and math. I was one of those kids who went to high school early. Actually, it was called Cleveland School of Science. So, and so I started high school in sixth grade. So, I was
Mm,
always been that kid that's been into science, math, computers, all of that. So it just kind of, as I progressed through life, I just kind of really stuck with, in those fields for the most part. I got into doing a little bit of the front end development, working in Microsoft, doing a lot of different things in security as well. That progression, it just pretty much kind of drifted me into, learning a little bit more about Bitcoin and blockchain and all that crypto stuff. So, of course, when you're, initially learning about Bitcoin, it's probably about the money, right? you want to
right,
learn about investing and doing all of that great stuff. But also the tech side of me understood exactly what it was when it came to security. So I really wanted to start delving into a lot more of understanding the blockchain. And then that's kind of like the real short version of, how I got into the space. And, once I started understanding what it was and investing and trying to teach others about it, it just, it trickled up from there.
right. And there's so many rabbit hole experiences that are similar. And that certainly was the case for me. When I first heard about Bitcoin in particular, particularly with a lawyer mind as well, it's like, I don't know about that. That sounds
Right.
like magic, mystical, illegal money. I want nothing to do with it. I don't know where it
Right.
is. I don't know where it came from. And it was just inaccessible to me. But I've always been certainly intellectually curious, a lifelong learner. And certainly as a law professor, I did at least want to understand the technology. Oftentimes people don't come at it from the technology. And I'm not a blockchain, not Bitcoin person. I may have started
Right.
that way. And I think people were talking, I got into the space in 2017. And I feel like a lot of people were talking about blockchain, not Bitcoin. It's just
Right.
the advent of the ICO boom and bust and all of that. So people were
Right.
kind of pulling themselves away. But I needed to understand fundamentally what this was because I was clear after I started to read more that it was distributed ledger technology and this novel use of peer-to-peer technology, the internet, and cryptographic protocols.
Right.
That sounded like a game changer. I was going to figure out the money later. And now where I am, and I know that you are, and let's talk about this, the idea of financial freedom and economic empowerment, particularly in Black and Brown communities, and
Right.
what that means for Black people in particular. Talk to me about your thoughts about economic empowerment and why Bitcoin and why now.
So, you know what? It's funny that you say that. I'm looking at a book right behind you that kind of puts everything in perspective. Isaiah Jackson's Bitcoin in Black America. He really touches on a lot of things that we really need to start putting into our minds and putting into our communities. We have to understand why we need to, start embracing this transfer of wealth. As we see, in the last year, especially, it's been happening for a long time. But over this past year, we can really see this transfer of wealth and how a lot of people are starting to understand what this American US dollar really is and what it isn't. So once you start seeing that this is an asset that is constantly depreciating, and then you can start seeing how Bitcoin is something that is steadily appreciating. Over the last 10 years, it's going up pretty much 200%, on an average. And it's like, okay, we really need to start pushing this into our communities and pushing it into our mindsets to kind of think a lot long term, thinking generational wealth, because, there's so many different things that's out there that, we are wasting our money on daily. And if we just decide to put our $5 to $10 a week or whatever we can afford into something that's going to constantly appreciate, it's going to be a lot more beneficial for us in the long term.
Absolutely. What are some of the biggest impediments to adoption in the Black community of Bitcoin in particular, and at least education in the crypto space more broadly? What things are standing between the community and adoption?
Yeah, that's pretty much my strong point there. It's all about adoption, right? And I think part of it is the concept of having something that you can't touch. The intangibility of Bitcoin kind of puts people at a disease type of mindset to say, well, if I can't touch it, then I don't really, I don't want to mess with it. Not realizing that you don't touch credit cards. They give you some nice little plastic. Hey, it could be cardboard. It could be made out of
Right.
styrofoam. It doesn't really matter. But we've started shifting how we use them, whether it is a chip. It used to be a magnetic strip on the side, then it became a chip and things of that sort. But it's that piece of plastic really means nothing. When you start thinking about all it's really doing is changing some ones and zeros from one account and putting it on another account.
Right.
So once we start changing our mindset to understand how money works, and that's really like the downfall of society. No one really knows how money works. And once we start understanding things like that, then it starts making sense. Say, okay, well, this fictitious money that they told us something was worth, we've lived by that this entire time. We've taken it out of our mattresses and stuck it in their banks, where we're getting, pennies on the dollar, pennies on the
Right.
10,000 for the most part. You put in, $1,000, and then by the end of the year, you have 1,000 in a nickel. So,
Right.
it's, it's those type of things. Once you start understanding that mindset of having, of understanding what money is and understanding how you need to start thinking about assets versus liabilities, then we say, all right, now we have to start figuring out how to do this a little bit different, how to do this better. Understanding that a lot of people call Bitcoin digital gold. I like to call it digital land, right? Because this is something, they're not making any more Earth and they're not making any more Bitcoin after the 21 million, right? So, and if I can try to get people to understand that this is, the world is made out of 21 million acres, right? If you want at least 1 acre, that's going to be your foundation to start building on, whether it is a house,
Right.
a home, apartment building, whatever you want to be able to build, you're going to need that acre to do so. So if you start thinking about and changing people's mindsets and thinking of how, how they think about money, how they think about assets, I think that starts to get them in that mindset to say, okay, this $20 that I stuck in this piggy bank is still $20 when I take it out. It didn't do anything. It didn't appreciate for me. I didn't get anything else out of it. And now, depending on how many years you had that $20 bill in that piggy bank, now you can buy less with it. So now
Right.
you understand and shifting people's mindset and just getting them to understand what money is and what assets are.
You love listening to podcasts, but have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Maybe you want to build a brand, grow your business, or are looking for an excuse to talk about your favorite hobby. Whatever your reason for making a podcast, Buzzsprout is the place to start. Since 2009, Buzzsprout has helped over 300,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout walks you step by step through the whole process and will give you powerful tools to start, grow, and monetize your podcast. Ready to get started? Click the link in the show notes to get our free step-by-step guide to starting your podcast today.
We hope you're enjoying this edition of Tech Intersect. Our conversation will continue in a moment, but first, a word on an exciting opportunity.
There's a more cost-effective and time-efficient way to reach your leading-edge learning and earning goals, to put you ahead of the stiff competition in this fast-paced, tech-driven economy. You need skills, credentials, and a fast track to a competitive advantage. You need it now more than ever, and I can help. The Advantage Evans method puts you ahead of the curve with condensed, comprehensive online courses, curated content to leverage your current skills and expertise, live coaching, networking opportunities, and more. Upcoming courses include From Cash to Crypto to help you buy your first Bitcoin, and there are 2 ways to get your advantage. Advantage Evans Encore gives you maximum experience for your total competitive advantage and access for 1 year. It includes a live welcome and modules on terminology, buying and selling, exchanges, mining, earning crypto, trading and investing, and also several of the legal issues you need to know in order to be safe and secure as you enter this space. That includes tax compliance, how to plan for a Bitcoin estate, and securities laws to make sure you avoid any legal unforced errors. Now, Advantage Core gives you the essentials. It's a short course to give you what you want and the support you need to buy your first crypto in as little as 3 weeks, with access to the information and replays for 3 months. And if you're not quite ready for your Advantage and want a sneak peek to try before you buy, then register for a free masterclass where I share my Crypto 101 success checklist and cover current hot topics in crypto. So there truly is something for everyone, including you, to get in on the fast track and learn and earn in the digital economy. Visit AdvantageEvans.com to get started. That's AdvantageEvans.com.
And now, back to the conversation.
Very powerful, and I love the analogy, and I think it is easier for people to wrap their proverbial brain around the concept of the finite nature of real property, real estate, in order to make that mental leap. You hit the sweet spot with the word mindset as well. Yeah. And I felt I had a pretty good understanding of the nature of money, or at least I thought I did, intellectually, academically, but not authentically in comparison with just the passive relationship, I should say, with money. And just turning it over. It's like you have a keys to the car and you just turn it over and somebody's driving and we don't even know where we're going. Exactly. And then you're forced to sit down and assess in order to fundamentally understand and appreciate the impact and the transformative opportunity that is found in crypto generally, Bitcoin in particular. You have to understand money, and to understand money, you have to understand value. And to understand value, it's like, what is old is new again, like the system before the system that we currently exist in now.
Right.
And that was a way that I was able to shift my mindset and the mindset of my family as well. So mindset, I think I'm going to weave that into the topic or the subject of this conversation today. Transitioning to, I meant to delve a little bit more deeply when we were talking about adopting. And I know that your book is titled Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency. Talk to us about why you wrote the book and the impact of the book. I know it's a bestseller, so talk to us about your book.
So, the book came about actually during the pandemic, right? It gave me something to do while I was at home doing nothing for the most part. So there was so many things that came out of the pandemic that was a positive thing. I was doing a lot of different things, whether it was podcasts around generational wealth, and then at the same time, I wanted to be able to write something that would also be a way for people to start wrapping their heads around this blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Understanding that a lot of people don't really understand the blockchain is kind of like it's kind of a buzzword when you're in the corporate space. People are saying that, hey, we want a blockchain and don't really know what it is. Just because competitors may have it or what have you. So there's sometimes they're trying to shoehorn things in, not really understanding what it is. Then you have the people that's probably on the secular level, that's on a commercial level that really don't really know what it is, and they just understand a little bit about it. Just say, okay, it's some tech stuff, but I want people to start understanding tech as a whole. While you start, delving into blockchain and some of these technologies, unless you're really in the tech field, you really probably don't care what type of technology you use as long as it gets the job done.
Right.
But the way that blockchain is going to be interwoven in a lot of things that we do, it is very important that we, whether it's going to be financial, real estate, healthcare, any of those type of things, it's going to affect our lives in some way. So it's really, imperative that we start understanding this technology, especially as we start moving into, cryptocurrency and a lot more, digital payments. As we saw it during the pandemic, that it's going to be a lot of companies, a lot of places that don't want to accept money. They don't want to accept, physical fiat dollars anymore
Right.
or coins. Even Coinstar is switched up the game, saying, give us your coins and we'll give you Bitcoin, right? So
Wow.
it's those type of things to say, look, we don't necessarily want to touch this money anymore. We really want to go digital. So I think it's really key that everyone, our community especially, that we start, delving into and start understanding what this cryptocurrency is and understanding how it relates to the blockchain. And then once we start understanding those two, it'll be a lot easier for us to start making these transitions. Because one thing I've always taught about is like automation, business automation, and things of that sort. And so as jobs start changing, being able to understand blockchain and things of that sort is going to be key if you still want to keep a job. So if
How
you
about
really
that?
want, if you really want, you better adapt, and start learning a lot of these things that, whether it's, and you don't necessarily have to be able to code Solidity or do all of these different things. Now, if you know how to make smart contracts, even better, right?
Right.
Because smart contracts are pretty much nothing but business logic. I like to dumb it down to like the easiest thing to say is business logic. So if you do understand your job and how you've always done your job, and you know the business logic behind it, you understand how, you can understand like the premise of smart contracts. So you can start using that type of knowledge to try to translate it over into, some type of blockchain field. So I
That's
really want to
interesting.
stress that.
Fantastic. I'm excited for everyone to read Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency as well. I believe that you mentioned in my notes, don't have it in front of me, the ability for people to purchase it. Why don't you tell them how to do that right now? I have a couple more questions and then we'll get out of here.
Okay, great. So you can purchase my book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It is Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency, Embracing the Digital Future. You can also grab that on adoptingblockchain.com. If you go to my site, adoptingblockchain.com, you can actually purchase this with Guapcoin, with a dual coin, or Bitcoin. And you can save money if you use crypto to do so.
Excellent. Well, I love the new emerging Black Wall Street Web 3.0 version. And the way we can recirculate dollars virtually is by supporting the platforms of everyone who comes on to the show and also Guapcoin. So we had Tavonia Evans on some episodes ago. I'm going to drop a link to that show so you can learn more about Guapcoin as well. And if you want to use Guapcoin or any of the others that are accepted at adoptingblockchain.com, please do so. And that's the way we circulate and amplify excellence. And speaking of that, Black Bitcoin billionaires and all of the programming going on in Clubhouse. I get no sleep. I get up early in the morning and I stay up until late at night,
Right.
listening, leveraging, learning, laughing, and being inspired by that. I'd love to tag a team in sometime. Anytime you want a law topic, you let me know. But tell
Definitely.
everyone about Black Bitcoin billionaires, Genesis Block in particular, the programming that you're doing, and how people can participate.
So, Black Bitcoin billionaires, I don't know what to say about this club on Clubhouse. It's been very transformative in a lot of people's lives. We've been around for just under 4 months. I want to say I came on toward the early December, just to Clubhouse. But the Black Bitcoin Billionaires was probably like 1 week afterward. So I was just kind of getting my feet wet and didn't really know what was going on. And stumbled upon this club, and it's just been the greatest thing. One of the things that we do, they actually have the Genesis block on Mondays. Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. And now that they're starting to do this on on Facebook, on YouTube, on Clubhouse, so we can reach a lot more people. The reason
Right.
why, as of right now, Clubhouse is, only for iPhone users or, iOS users. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to reach a lot of different people. So within this Clubhouse, that was, pretty much started by Isaiah Jackson and Lamar Wilson. It's just grown. It has grown tremendously in these 4 months. I mean, it's roughly about 90,000 or somewhere near about 90,000 members and followers already. We have a lot of different rooms that we teach in pretty much every day. Naja Roberts and myself, we teach the crypto virgins Monday through Friday, pretty much, and a couple of hours a day where anybody can come in there and ask their most basic questions, understand what Bitcoin is, understand wallets, a lot of different things. The Genesis block is a little bit more advanced, where we talk everything under the sun. You want to talk NFTs, you want to talk, blockchain, you want to talk SHA-256, you want to talk all this other good stuff that people don't know. Come to the Genesis block. But yeah, like I said, we have so many other rooms that we hold in Clubhouse where we're just constantly just giving out the knowledge for free. So I definitely invite, if you have an iPhone, come on over. If you have an Android, you might need to wait a little bit longer until they open it up for Android. But yeah, please come over. We'd love to have you and as a member, and just all the things that they've been doing in the last couple of months. We had programs where we had the Satoshi Millionaires, where we were trying to put Bitcoin in the wallets of 100,000 Black families. So we had so many different things that's been going on with the Black Bitcoin billionaires. I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
I can't say enough good things about it. First of all, the collective power of those involved is really, really impressive. And also, particularly in the crypto space, representation matters. It matters everywhere, but in particular, just because of the opportunity, again, that our community in particular has to participate meaningfully
Right.
in establishing wealth in this generation and creating generational wealth over time in a way that we've not been able to do before. And the
Exactly.
reason we weren't able to do it in a broad way, we have done it. We have done a lot less, a lot more with a lot less, to be sure, but the collective experience throughout the diaspora, the impediments have been the very quote unquote intermediaries that this technology seeks to remove.
Right.
The decentralized nature. I don't need a background check. I don't need a credit check. I'm not going to be impacted by redlining. Either I have Bitcoin or I don't. Maybe I can lend it, I can spend it, I can leverage it without the permission or the absence of permission for those gatekeepers that historically have marginalized our community.
Right.
And so what you all are doing, and this is free 99 information, all of the folks who Fred just mentioned, everybody has courses and businesses. They are there to empower and to provide information. It's never a screaming match like some of those other clubhouse rooms. It only takes so much of that. It's like too much noise and disrespect. I don't do disrespect. Ask a question, get an answer, move on and do your own research. Please participate, and it's open to all with a decided focus on our community. The final thing that I want to talk about is something that I also learned from, I heard Naja Roberts talking about it in one of the rooms recently, and was thrilled to see that your participation and leadership for the Crypto Kids Camp. So tell everybody what that is and what you're doing this summer in particular, and the vision for Crypto Kids Camp.
So, yes, Crypto Kids Camp. I recently came on as the executive director. So, Crypto Kids Camp has been around for a couple of years. There was a lot of things that we really missed out on last year because of COVID. But we're seeking to, as the world starts to open back up, to allow us to kind of branch out from what we were doing before. Originally, this was a camp that we held in the LA area, where we had kids ages 5 through 17, get their hands on real technology to try to get them understanding. Sometimes, when we're trying to send our kids to camp, you really only hear like code camp. You might hear things about sports or something like that. But I'm going to tell you personally, I've been in code for a very long time, and I still don't like some of it, right? I code because I have to, but to sit there and play in certain all these different languages all the time, it's not something I love to do. But so understanding that, we wanted to be able to allow them to, get these different type of technologies under their belt. So instead of saying STEM or STEAM, we say we go beast mode. And beast mode stands for blockchain, evolution of money, artificial intelligence, security, which is like cybersecurity, technology. We have machine learning and mining, online gaming, drones, and engineering. So they
Amazing.
have a lot of different things that they can get their hands on. We're having these camps in different cities now, so we're trying to branch out because it's one thing to have it in the LA area, but at the same time we want to be able to reach so many more kids. So we're going to start bringing this to more cities around the United States. Hopefully we can branch out even further soon. But right now we're sticking to the U.S. and we're going to a lot more cities to try to help the kids. So, and this is a nonprofit organization, so all the donations and support that we could possibly muster, is all welcome.
Excellent. I remember when I heard her mention it, I said, I wonder what's going to go on in Philly. I'm very near Philadelphia and was raised there. So I'm a Philly girl and not too far away. And
Right.
so I'll definitely stay in touch with you and figure out what's going on in my particular area. I'd love to support, certainly through my business but also personally, just showing up for things that we got to say the kids. I
Mhm.
believe the children are our future.
Exactly, right.
Right?
Definitely.
Crypto and children, the collective future for
Right.
sure. Fred Brandon, author of Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency, Embracing a Digital Future. It looks at use cases for blockchain technology and explores how Bitcoin and digital currencies will, in fact, revolutionize the way we think about conventional banking. The world as we know it is changing. The question he asks is, will you be ready? You'll be ready if you get Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency, and if you check into Black Bitcoin Billionaires. Learn a little. You can't know everything about all the things, but start where you are. Start to look for the disruptive impact of blockchain technology in your life, in your finances, in your career, and get ready and stay ready so you don't have to then get ready again. Let's stay ready. Let's
Right.
prepare for the future of the money because the future is now. Fred, thank you so much for making time today. I know you're extremely busy, and I love how you're moving in the world, and I'm glad that we're connected.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. This has been great. I love the opportunity to speak here and just let everyone know exactly what's going on and that there are communities that people can feel safe to come into. There are these safe spaces. Sometimes we see a lot of different faces on technology and it kind of pushes us away. We see all like these power lists and none of them look like us, right? So sometimes it kind of forces people into a way where well, that's not my field. That's not for me. So I really I'm glad about a lot of things that we're doing in this space and empowering others and empowering people within our community, especially.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again to Fred for stopping by Tech Intersect to talk about Crypto Kids Camp, his insightful and informative book, Adopting Blockchain and Cryptocurrency, his course, and his tireless contribution to blockchain education and empowerment through the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. Be sure to catch him on a Clubhouse stage soon. You'll thank me later. And thanks to you, my loyal subscribers. You've been sharing and connecting and tweeting. Keep sending in your comments, your questions, your discussion items. Help me help you. Let me know what ahas and favorite moments you had listening to this episode, what questions you have. Drop a comment or tweet at Advantage Evans. And please take a moment to like, comment, and share this episode and this podcast with your networks. Follow me on social media and let me know what topics you'd like to hear more of and who you want to hear from. All right, that's all for this episode. Until next time, continue to shine.
Stay in touch with host Tanya Evans via your favorite social media. On Twitter @TechIntersect, and on Instagram via the handle techintersect. This podcast has been produced by Stephanie Renee for Soul Sanctuary Incorporated.